Good morning to you, Naledi, and to the viewers. Today we're expecting judgment to be handed down on the bail application of the 5 accused in the escape of Thabo Bester. We're not expecting it to really be a long day, as we're going to start in court around 12 midday today. We expect that the magistrate will read out his judgment, obviously based on the evidence that was led in court during this long bail application. Remember that the bail application essentially took about 2 weeks with postponements in between, where the legal representatives for all the 5 accused were submitted the affidavits to the court and also argued on the basis of those affidavits. The prosecutor also argued against the bail application. You remember that also there was a state witness that was brought in to come and lead evidence about what was found out in the investigation of what essentially happened prior to Bester's escape last year and during the night where Bester was found to have committed suicide. It was later found out, of course, that the body that was found in Bester's cell was not Bester himself. So these are some of the things that the magistrate will obviously be looking at when he makes his judgment, and it will be interesting also to find out what are some of his pickings in the evidence that was led in court. What will he be focusing on? If you remember last week, one of the biggest things that were coming out of the bail application or the arguments was that from the prosecutor's side was that all the accused would have alternative care for their families and for their children, and that they did not really indicate that they were the primary caregivers for their children. This is something that the legal representatives also challenged afterwards and said to the court that they wanted to talk about that and really demonstrate that all the accused are primary caregivers for their families. So we'll hear what the magistrate will say on the basis of that, because he did want to know what is the distinction between a primary caregiver and a breadwinner to the family. So yeah, we look forward to this, and we'll hear whether any of them will get bail or none of them will get bail.
Okay, and what time are we expecting that judgment to be delivered, Kamogelo? And just as you respond to that question, I know that a few weeks ago we would have expected to see Nandi Pamakutumane in the dock there with the 5 accused, but of course she has suspended her bail application, but to pursue another case. I mean, do we know what the latest is with regards to Dr. Nandi Pamakutumane?
Dr. Nandi Pamakutumane's case has been taken to the Free State High Court here in Bloemfontein. The case set on Friday, but it was postponed only after a short while, because if you remember, the Department of Home Affairs did say that it wants to be part of the respondents in the matter. You remember that Dr. Nandipa didn't include them in her affidavit to the High Court, pleading to the court that her charges should be withdrawn. The case was postponed to this week on Thursday, where the Department of Home Affairs will then submit their responding affidavit, and then we will hear what happens on Thursday. But all the respondents in the matter, as well as Dr. Nandipa herself as the applicant, will have to submit their head of argument before Thursday, when the case is going to be heard in the High Court. We did speak to a legal expert last week about the matter, who said before the case will sit, the court has to first determine whether it's an urgent matter. So with regards to the postponement, we still have to know whether it's urgent and it will be heard on Thursday, or whether the court will say there's another postponement. But the case is indeed in the High Court at the moment, and it will sit on Thursday.